These are from some movies I took in 1976 when I was on a trip back to New Carlisle, living in California at the time, but made a trip back here with took my mom and dad and picked up my uncle and aunt in North Carolina, and then we came up to New Carlisle. So had a few days to spend in Ohio, and one day I went with my friend Don Skinner, and we drove all around New Carlisle. Here we are coming down the street we lived on when we first moved there in 1955. A green house is the one that Dad bought in 1955 for $8,500, $55 a month for payment. And apparently at that time there was the Exxon station downtown, and looking at the shopping center across the street. And in a second we'll be in the shopping center looking the other way. And gas prices were 54 cents a gallon in 1976, so been a little bit of change there. And you can see there's a golf station was still there at the time, and this is looking south on Main. Now we're looking north on Main Street. And this is on Church Street. The greenhouse was one that my wife lived in when she was in high school. Her dad owned that. Used to have a TV repair shop in a little building in the back there. I don't remember the significance of the brick house there. I think it was somebody that Don knew, and he wanted me to take a picture. Same with that one. I kind of remember stopping there and talking to somebody, his friend of his. This White House next to the funeral home is where I worked for the summer right after I graduated in 1960. Worked for Harry White there when he was remodeling that house. And of course, Don and I are both ham radio operators, so we were taking a picture there of the antenna that used to be on the elevator. Used to be a ham radio repeater station there. And this, I believe, is going out 571 out west of town. And now we're coming back in towards the elevator. And, there's the baseball field. We used to go down behind the field there along the creek. In fact, we used to go shooting when I was a teenager there. So, and the bowling alley was still there. I think that's on the corner of Jefferson and Church Street. And then taking a picture here of the New Carlisle Sun building. That's where I worked from 1960 to 63, and got a job there after working for Harry White during the summer. Of course, the Methodist Church across the street from the library and the New Carlisle Sun. Not sure when that was expanded to as large as it was there, but it may have happened. It may have been the reason I was taking the picture there. Then you headed north on Main Street again. Looked like the Shell station was still there and probably still open in those days. And this is on New Carlisle Pike. This is a church that my wife and I got married in on about halfway to Springfield on New Carlisle Pike. And another ham radio antenna. Hams can't pass an antenna without noticing it. And coming into Springfield. And this was some friends of Don's. I think we were out on Selma Road. There I am with Don on the left. And Don one time had a TV repair shop in the building he's walking over to. And so he used to have a store there in that neighborhood. And some other people that he knew. But now we're in the railroad yards on Water Street. This is where my dad used to work when I was a kid. He had worked in the railroad on a construction crew. He was a cook on a construction crew, and they had their cars parked right there where this picture was taken. And the last time I was through there, everything is gone, and the only thing left in the area was a bar across the street. Whitey's Tavern was still there. And this was a Kenwood school where I went to the third grade when we lived in Springfield in the early 50s. Yeah, I think this was a restaurant that we used to hang out at when I was a teenager, and we used to come into Springfield. Couldn't remember the name of it, but it was out on East or West Main Street. And now coming out of Springfield on Route 40, headed back to New Carlisle. And the Olive Branch building, and Tecumseh, where I graduated in 1960. And coming back into New Carlisle from the east side on 571. Of course, in those days it was just Route 71, not 571. That's the house that we lived in when my wife and I first got married.